Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Lies, shenanigans. Truth, 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 lies, shenanigans. It's the TLS show, coming to you live from the TLS show.
Hey, welcome to the Truth, Lies, Shenanigans podcast. Social commentary, hot topics, and amazing guests with a ton of fun and shenanigans along the way. My name is Neil Nix. This week, our guest is Tiffany Vick. She's a mother of an autistic child and owner of the Indigo Child Therapeutic Center. She's here for an Autism Awareness Month, and she will be sharing her story and experiences with us. Also, we have guest hosting for the first time, Marya Kazmi, blogger and the host of the Brown Girl Interrupting blog and Pain to Power podcast. Then we've got some topics for you. Lizzie has a story about a slain rapper's dead body being propped up and displayed during a nightclub performance. Rob B wants to discuss the Texas Teacher of the Year winner who was suspended for simply showing a picture of to her students of herself and her same-sex fiance. Then we'll see if we have time to talk about the Will Smith punishment for his attack on Chris Rock. But it's a packed episode, so we may end up taking it to the after show, and that will be live exclusively at the TLSfans.com private Facebook group. So feel free to go there now to join the group. And it is our birthday. Our 2-year birthday. It's an amazing 2 years. Amazing 2 years. All right, before we get into the show, let me introduce you to our vibrant hosts for the next hour, and let's see if they can give us a favorite memory of the last couple of years doing the podcast. First up, we're going to start with the professor, journalist, editor, and sports intern, mentor at ESPN out of Washington, D.C., Miss Liz E.
What's up, everyone? Happy Sunday Fun Day. As Neo mentioned, it is our birthday. TLS Truth Lies Shenanigans. We are 2 years old. So favorite moment for me, terrible twos. I hope we've gotten better with our behavior over the years. Probably not, but still have a little bit of ways to go. Let's see, favorite memory. I'm still going to hold on to the one memory that I've mentioned 1,000 times before. It has to be our former host, Z Girl, when she had her meltdown, her tantrum on the show because Neo, as he is wont to do, was cheating during the game show.
I don't cheat. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's still my all-time favorite memory because it was so unexpected. It was very candid and it was funny as
Z.
hell.
Yeah,
Thanks, Z Girl. Thank you. We miss you, girl. We miss you.
Yeah, we do miss her. I just tagged her to make sure she sees this. All right. So we also have our gamer, tech guru, rock star with the rock band Fallen Machine coming to you from Sudbury, Ontario, Mr. Raw B. Raw.
What's up, everyone? It's another Super Sunday. And I guess when I stop and think about it, for me, I guess it's been the personal growth that I've experienced from listening to our guests share their experiences, through listening to your experiences from my co-hosts, because I live in Canada. I'm a middle-aged white guy in Canada. I have a very different life experience. So, if anything, it's really helped me open up my eyes to the systemic racism that was always in Canada, but I really wasn't, my lens was different. And as far as guests goes, getting to meet Carlotta Walls-Lanier on the show, someone who was instrumental in breaking down race barriers in the U.S. And then at the opposite end of the spectrum, a couple of weeks ago with Michael Michelle Harris from Mixedish. It's it's just been such a wicked experience all the way through. So thank you to Neo, the creator, and Liz, my co-host. My TLS family is something that's become very important to me.
Yeah. Thank you, Robbie. All right. And our special guest host today, sitting in for Gianni Storm, we've got a talented blogger and podcaster. She's the host of Brown Curl Interrupting blog, the Pain to Power podcast, and co-host of the Better Minds Interrupting podcast, Miss Marya Kazmi.
Thank you. Thank
Marya,
you so
welcome.
much. Thank you, and thanks for allowing me to be a guest host. I feel pretty privileged and honored because you've been on for 2 years, which I just have to say in itself, like I've only been doing my podcast for 4 months now, and 2 years just seems like humongous. So congratulations.
Thank you.
That's huge. That's
Thank you.
huge. And I just have to say I don't have a memory, but I just want to put in that like I love the dynamics of all of each of you and what you bring and your different lenses to the conversation, and that you're willing to push back a little bit and challenge each other. It's a great energy, but very respectful and like just really nice. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you
Thank
for
you.
that.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
All right, now really quick, I have many, many amazing memories to pick from. Like Carlotta Walls Lanier, a bunch of them. It's just really hard to really pick the one. But I just want to say, when I think back to kind of where we started from, we were just kind of pissed off about the pandemic and pissed off about Trump. And then to look at where we are now and even starting up our second podcast, Beyond the Scars, it's been an absolute honor and privilege to work with my amazing team here, my co-host Rob, Liz E. Liz E's been hanging in there with me, and then Gianni Storm, Ellen Dahl, then Jose Nesmi, Olivia doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and then all of our amazing guests and guest hosts, Micah, Dr. Robin, Mayor Patrick, and now we can add Marya to that list. It's just been an amazing ride, and I thank all of you for taking that ride with me. I truly do. I appreciate you all. So, Marya, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for sitting in for Gianni. So, Marya was going to be a spotlight guest, but she agreed to sit in for us as a guest host. And we're about to reward you by putting you into our hot seats. But before we do that, really quick, tell everyone a bit about yourself and what is Brown Girl Interrupting and the Pain to Power podcast. Tell us about them.
So So I am a DC, Maryland, Virginia native. I grew up here. I am a daughter of immigrants. My parents are from Pakistan and Bangladesh, and I grew up in a Muslim family. And all of that has kind of been my whole journey of life and balancing kind of many worlds in one place. And I got married. I got married and was married for 17 years, and
Wow.
and had 4 children, one of which you just popped up. and, um,
How's it
Yes,
going? Hey,
this is my youngest, who's 5. You can say hi, little person.
welcome.
All right. Um,
Yes.
and so I was married for 17 years, and I have 4 children from 21 to 5, 21, 19, 16, and 5. And I multitasking my life, all my life. but but I will say that I left the marriage. I left the marriage because it was unhealthy. It was not right for me, and I left with
Good
a lot
reason
of
to leave.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little too late. 17 years in, I was about 17 years late on the leaving, but but I have 4 beautiful children from the process, and a lot of lessons learned, but I think a lot of it was the healing. And for me, my healing started at this place where, in addition, I also work in equity and race in my day job in education. So I kind of combine these ideas because I've been examining my identity a lot
Okay.
and what that is and how that impacts the decisions I make in my life and all of the things that I do. And so I created this space where I could process all of that called Brown Girl Interrupting. And that's it. It's me. It's me being brown. It's me being a woman and all of the dynamics that come into that as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, in relationships as the female, and and then also I'm an interrupter, constantly challenging the status quo, constantly
Oh,
questioning
that's right.
things, and that is the beautiful thing, right? And that's what we do. And so I started a blog where I wrote about my journey of what I experienced, but what I learned from my lessons of this marriage, of being a mother, of balancing culture and spirituality and religion and all these pieces. And that eventually kind of led into meeting different people along the road who resonated with this tiny little. It started as a very small thing, honestly. Like, I literally was like, hey, I'm just going to journal my life for everyone to read, right? Like, but everyone was like the three people who had the website that I let them see, right? Like, it wasn't a big thing. I didn't think it was going to be anything more than just a space for me to process. And then it started to resonate with a lot of people, and they came to me and would say they read my blog and they felt things. And it was from, it would be like older people to, I've had men, women, some like young adolescents even, right?
Yeah.
And it started to, I think that was my momentum, but then I connected with someone who had a podcast on spirituality, and that's what Neo mentioned. The Better Minds Interrupting is a co-hosted podcast with a good friend. And this January, I took all of that to create my new podcast, which is hosted by me every Sunday at 9 o'clock on my YouTube channel, called Pain to Power: Leading with Love, because what I feel I've done is I've taken my journey of pain, empowered myself, and led others to find the love within themselves and to just heal in this journey. And so there are so many people who have that journey in so many different ways. So Pain to Power is elevating and highlighting all those different stories. I've had musicians, I've had poets, I've had authors. In fact, today I have an author of the book Dating 360. And he's on tonight with me, DM Woods. And I've had self-love speakers and people that are just trying to, talk about mental health and healing. So
Oh,
it's been pretty awesome for 4 months. I'm very excited.
yeah,
And
it's exciting. So you said
and yeah,
tonight, 9 p.m.?
yeah, tonight, 9 p.m. on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube.
Okay, Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube. So make sure you check that out. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to put you into our hot seat. Are you ready? Let's go.
I don't know if anybody's ever ready.
All right, let's do this. So these are going to be rapid fire questions. Answer as quickly and honestly as you can. First thing that comes to your mind. Let's do it. All right. Tesla, Lexus, BMW, Kia, or any old clunker is fine.
Kia.
Kia. All right, I'm with you on that. All right.
I used to have a Kia, so I like a Kia.
All right. Look at Lizzie's face. All right. Camping in the woods, beach vacation, ski lodge, or I'd rather stay at home.
Oh, beach vacation, hands down.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Jennifer Lopez films or Ben Affleck films? Jennifer's back
I'm
on.
judging you. I'm judging you, Marya. I'm judging you on this.
I mean, like, is there a C on this answer?
Only if you make one up.
I can't say either, but if I were to pick one, I like Good Will Hunting, so I'm gonna go with Ben
Affleck
in that
films.
only way, right?
All right. There we
The
go.
man has Oscars. The man writes scripts. Like, yes.
All right. Soup, salad, or where's the beef?
Soup.
Soup. All right. You've got a free one-way trip. Are you going 20 years into the past or 20 years into the future?
20 years into the future.
All right. You suddenly have the power to change one of these things in the world for the next 50 years. World peace, no one goes hungry, or everyone lives 50 years longer.
I think world peace.
World peace. All right. It's your birthday. Do you want flowers, jewelry, a simple dinner out, a handwritten card, or doesn't really matter? It's just another day.
Oh, it definitely matters. So it's gotta be. Wait, what were the choices? Handwritten card?
Flowers, jewelry, a simple dinner out, or a handwritten card?
Hmm. I'm gonna go with simple dinner out.
Simple dinner. All right. And here's the last one. Date, marry, kill. Idris Elba, Brad Pitt, John Legend.
Date John Legend because he's already married. I'm like, but
Lizzie's face.
marry Idris Elba, and the last one was kill Brad Pitt. Kill Brad Pitt.
Kill Brad Pitt. All right, you are
Never
off.
been a fan. Never been a fan.
Kill Brad Pitt. All right, so we're killing Brad Pitt. All right, so let's get started with our show. It's time to bring in our guest who's been waiting patiently. Today's spotlight is on the owner of the Indigo Child Therapeutic Center, Miss Tiffany Vick. Tiffany, how are you? Welcome to the show. How's everything? Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
All right, so
Thank
Tiffany,
you for having me.
it's Autism Awareness Month, and we're going to talk a bit about your story and what your center does, but we'd love to get to know you first. So can you start off with telling our audience something, anything that we would not be able to Google about you?
I'm a pessimist.
A
I
pessimist.
believe that yes, everything that can go wrong will go wrong, and then I'm not surprised when it happens. So
Oh,
when it happens, I'm like, I knew that was gonna happen.
you,
I knew I wasn't gonna get that. I knew
know,
I wasn't gonna do that.
I know
So
some
yeah,
people in my life
I'm
like
a
that.
pessimist.
I'm not.
That leads to good
I don't
preparation,
like
though.
being
That leads,
disappointed.
Fair
that
enough.
leads to good preparation because you're always prepared for the worst and you could possibly pivot very easily. So, not
Right.
necessarily a bad trait.
It's not
Not
necessarily,
necessarily.
not necessarily a bad trait. So you're living in the DC area. Are you from the area?
Yes, born and raised.
Oh,
I
yeah, me and Lizzie.
Northeast
Yeah.
DC. Yep,
Woohoo.
yep.
All right. So you know Lizzie. How do you guys know each other?
We met in the second grade at Fort Lincoln Elementary School and have known each other and
Ooh.
been great since then. She's one of my oldest and closest friends. I absolutely adore her.
Fort Lincoln Elementary. All right.
Yeah,
So, can
which
I?
is no longer, by the way.
What'd you say?
They tore it down. It's
Yeah,
no longer a
they
school.
tore it down. Yeah, it was at one point. It was one of the best and most immaculate elementary middle schools in the city. It
Yep.
sat. So I don't know if you're familiar with it, Neo, but it sat on the top of the hill where Fort Lincoln Cemetery
Okay.
is.
Yeah, I know where that
Um,
is.
at the very top of the hill. It had an amazing playground. It had an
Uh,
indoor playground, an
Indoor
indoor
playground.
pool, an
Indoor.
outdoor pool. Like it was, we didn't know what to do with ourselves. But let me just say,
Mm-mm.
for Tiffany's moment, I thought she was gonna say, because this is something that, happened when I think it was second or third grade, when
Oh,
Tiffany
yeah.
accident on the outdoor playground in which she
Speak
broke
off
her
with
arm
Ooh.
and had, some severe facial fractures. But and we were little and a lot of us were there and saw it happen.
Mm.
And let's just say it wasn't necessarily an accident that happened to Tiffany. Like somebody pushed her
Mm.
and caused that to happen. And so yeah, it was very traumatic. So I thought that's what she was gonna say because I mean I had never at that point, we were what, 8, 9? I had never seen
Yeah.
anything like that. Her arm was all over the place. Like
Ooh.
it was really
Oh,
traumatic
Jesus Christ.
for us.
It
It was
was.
very
And the crazy, you know what the crazy thing is like, so when you were younger, everybody imagine when they were younger, right? Your parents always say, I'm not taking you to the emergency room. I'm going to do this. So at the time, I had to test to get into Fort Lincoln. I lived across town in like the McKinley Tech area.
I know where
But
that
so
is.
I went to Emory Elementary at first, but I kept falling asleep. They were like, I think she's bored. Let's test her. There's a new school called Fort Lincoln. So I went there. It was 3 other girls from that elementary school that that did the same thing. So our parents got together and we carpooled. Well, it was one of the other parents' day. And we didn't have cell phones. She took me all the way home, and I walked through the door. I still had dirt all in my face. Like she said, my wrist was broken.
Oh,
And I just remember my mom being on the phone, and she looks to the door. She said, "What the hell
I would have
happened?"
been going crazy too.
And I was like, "Oh, God, oh,
Yeah.
and so she's like, I gotta take her to Children's, and I had to stay in Children's for like 7 days.
Children's
I
Hospital.
wound up getting it, and if yep, I had an infection in my lip, and my wrist was broken, but it was so severely broken that I had a cast all the way up to my shoulder.
Oh
So
wow.
Oh,
I ate out of a straw for like about a month. It
Mm.
was bad. It was
it
bad.
was bad. It
Did the
was
person
bad.
get punished? Whoever did it?
Well, what happened was we were all it's a spiral sliding board, and so it spirals around and then it
Mm,
comes out, right? So you have to
oh,
climb up and then you slide down. You climb up and then you slide down. So we were all racing, and she was like, "Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up!" And she pushed me over the side, and
mm.
I fell on
But
the
she didn't do
part
it
that comes out.
intentionally.
I don't think she
Look at
did.
Lizzie's face. She's like, yes, she did. Yes, she did. All right. All right. All right. So, as I said at the top of the show, it's Autism Awareness Month, and you have an autistic child. So, what has that
Yeah.
experience been like for you?
Uh, busy, very busy. He's 15 now. Um, we got his diagnosis when he was 7. So, but I've always known since he was about 2 years old. He used to do this thing where he has a twin sister. They had this table and chair set. He would turn the chair upside down. He would run around it and just stare at it and run around it. So I'm like, what's going on with this little boy? So I would turn it right side up. He would have a full meltdown. I mean, cry. He's on the floor. He's kicking and screaming. I turn it back upside down. He stopped.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay. Then he used to do this thing with like crayons and pencils. He would go like this, and that would keep him quiet for a long period of time, right? So I'm like, okay. So I just started noticing things, and he absolutely hated school. Um, so I was begging him, I think you should probably get him tested. Something's a little different. Not wrong, but a little different. And so they were like, oh, no, he's fine. He's a boy. I tell the pediatrician, he's a boy. Boys develop slower than girls. He has a twin sister. She's doing all the talking. I'm like, no. So he was about 4 when he got potty trained. She was 1. But then when she noticed that he wasn't doing it, she said, well, neither am I. So she reverted back, and
Mm,
then it's kind of been like that
mm,
ever since, where she's like, why does he get so much attention? And then later on, I physically bumped into an OT at the elementary school they were at. And she was like, oh, you're the twins, mom? They're awesome. I was like, yeah, but I'm a little concerned about my son.
mhm,
She
mhm,
said, okay, write a letter. And I said, but I've been telling them. She said, put it in writing. You
mhm,
put it in writing, and they have to test him within a certain amount of time. I swear to you, maybe 3 days after that letter, they tested him. Sure enough, he has autism, he has ADHD, and he also has depression. And I think they just say depression because when you talk to him, his name is Drew. You go, hi, Drew. He goes, hi.
mm.
Well, how are you? I'm good. So looking at him, he's kind of like what's the little thing on Winnie the Pooh? The little donkey that
Eeyore.
walks around.
Eeyore.
Eeyore.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he's kind of like that. It's like it's nothing wrong, but that's just how he is. He's just like, hey, hi, okay, So,
Yeah.
but it's been an amazing ride with him. He keeps me on my toes. Every year is something different. So when I think that I've overcome something, I'm like, okay, yes, we're good. Wait, what is this new thing you're doing? What is this? So it's like,
That's
and I'm
funny.
like, okay, they're almost 15, all right, but now it's like, ooh, how do I explain puberty to him? How do I,
Yeah.
explain certain things? Because he's 6'2". This dude
Oh,
is 6'2",
how old is he?
huge. He's 15.
15 at
He,
6'2"?
he
Growing too. Still growing too.
and yeah, and he wears a size 15 shoe.
Woo.
He's getting facial hair that he absolutely hates. So he used to take our razors that we shaved the females because it's 4 girls in the house altogether.
Uh-huh.
And he would take our razors and shave.
Oh wow.
I didn't know this boy was doing this, but he was shaving his mustache off. He was shaving his beard off because he went through puberty really early. So he has the really deep voice,
Mhm.
and he's online playing video games. But sometimes when he's online, they mistake him for a full grown man, and he's like,
Bet.
"Mom, I don't understand,"
Bet.
And I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I like
Yeah.
you playing with only who you know."
Right.
Yeah.
So because they'll
So
curse him out and everything, and I'm like, he was at the time he was like 12.
yeah,
I'm like,
online they're vicious online. They can be really vicious.
Tiffany,
So
yeah,
Tiffany,
Robbie,
Neo and Rob are gamers,
yes, we
so
are.
okay,
they know
And
about that
yeah,
online
there's some
atmosphere.
vicious conversations online that are not very kind. So
yeah,
Visceral.
yeah.
you want to
Visceral.
avoid people you don't know. So
That's what
Rob,
I was trying to tell him, man.
yeah. So Rob, did you have a question?
Yes. So what is one of the greatest challenges that you have been able to help your son overcome?
Oh, that's a good question and a hard question because I'm so hard on myself. So I feel like I really haven't helped him enough. You know,
Mm,
um, his dad and I divorced when they were 8. So it's been a big, and then he moved down south. So I've been pretty much raising, I have 4 kids altogether, and I've been pretty much raising them, physically on my own. Eventually, he came around and started, stepping up and doing things financially and coming up to see them and stuff like that. But in the beginning, it was hard. So I think it really was maybe trying to, no, because I don't feel like they're over it yet. Um, I guess maybe dealing with the fact that his dad is no longer here. Because
mm,
at first it was like when the girls were crying, he was looking like, why are they crying? And then he was like, okay, I guess I'll start crying. And then we were playing the
Mm.
Wii at the time. He was like, oh, Dad, I got to delete your person off the Wii. It didn't phase him at all.
mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, not at all. But now he is starting to he's starting to recognize other people's emotions,
Okay.
which is very hard for someone with autism.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Are you?
Thank you. So first off, Tiffany, I want to say thanks. Like, I think that sharing your story is really powerful. What you
Thank you.
experienced and how you have overcome so many of these challenges that I think definitely are really hard. And the advocation for your child is huge,
Oh yeah.
right? That's big, right? Like you said, I think
Right.
that OT gave you the right, that the letter itself was powerful in making sure that you knew everything that he needed, to be seen in all of his gifts, which is awesome. And I guess for
Thank
me, so I think, like, as a parent, I'm a parent of 4. I have not had as many challenges at all in terms of their development, but I know that we always learn things about ourselves. So I would say, like, what is it that you've learned about yourself in this process
Mm.
of
Mm.
helping support him and helping supporting, and even your organization of helping supporting other families and other kids?
you. That I am more patient than I thought I was.
I can imagine.
You have to have a lot of patience. I mean, you could say that you love children. You could say that I like working with children. That's all fine and good. But if you don't have that patience, um, then it's not going to work for you. We were at a mall in South Carolina, and this was before his actual diagnosis. I diagnosed him myself. I was like, okay, I think he has autism and it's this, that, and the third. We were in the mall. Everybody, if you're from almost every mall has a Spencer's, right? So you know
Mhm.
what's in the
Yep.
back of
Spencer's. Yep.
Spencer's.
Yep. Hmm.
In the front of it, what attracted him was
Toys.
he was into exactly. He was into the Mario, Sonic, things like that. So in the front, they have that. So he said, "Mom, can I get this Sonic book bag?" I was like, "Okay, yeah. If you wait, I'll take you." So he waited. I went. Next thing I know, he let go of my hand, ran to the back.
Mhm.
I lost it because I'm like, first of all, where did he go? And then if he went in the back, I know what's in the back of Spencer. So I'm like, hey, dude, no,
What's in
you
the
can't
back?
do
I
that.
don't know what's in the back of
It's
Spencer's. What's in
toys,
the back?
adult
It's
toys, adult
toy.
toys,
They-
adult toys.
Oh,
Nothing for
Mm.
kids to see. Nothing for kids to see for
Exactly.
sure.
Look at her face.
Liz face.
I don't know. I don't even know what Spencer's is. So I'm just like,
Oh,
Oh wow.
it's
It's
a
a
little
cute
like
little store.
yeah, it's like a Nick's. It's like odds and ends store. It's like just fun.
Mostly like comic
Yeah,
and like it has a little bit of everything in
a
there.
little bit of everything.
But
Yeah,
I
Gag
kind of
gifts
went
and
off
stuff.
on
yeah,
him.
gifts like yep.
Yeah. And I kind of told him, I was like, you can't do that. So now you can't get the book back. He had a whole meltdown in the mall, and we were going to stores trying to find the girl shoes. He was crying the whole time, people looking at me, and I'm just like, come on, let's go, and the girls was like, Mommy, you were very patient with him. And I said, yeah, because he knows he can't do that. And so the girls was like, how did you not kill him? Because if it was us, you would have like whooped us in the middle of the mall. I was like, because I know what I'm dealing with, so I
Right.
have to be patient because me giving him a spanking or something like that was just gonna make it worse and more embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
So packing that
Yeah.
patience in, you gotta have it. You have to.
Patience. Patience. So Lizzie.
Yeah, that's huge.
so my question is specifically about Drew. Like, does Drew understand his condition or that he's a bit different? And if he does, like, how does he process it?
That's that. I think that's probably the hardest part. I didn't tell him until he was, I think probably going to middle school because I was a little afraid, that he is a little different. So I didn't tell him because Drew is the type that he can manipulate a lot of situations, right? So if I told him, Drew, clean your room, oh, I can't do that. I got autism. Drew, go take the dogs out. I can't do that because I got autism. I can't do my homework. I can't do these things. So I know my son, so I was like, I'm gonna wait, but I wanted to tell him as he got older so that he would know how to handle it. He still has not embraced it, I don't think. Um, because his friends don't know. And they're like his best friends. But
Mm.
when he and his sister wrote a book and they were like, hey Drew, you got autism? He was like, nah, I just said that just to write the book. And I was like, dude. I just said, all right, I'm gonna let you do what you do, let you handle it. So I think he wants to be quote unquote normal so bad that
Mm-hmm.
he tries to do the things that the other kids do, and he's very good at it, but he fixates on it so that he can master it. So, that's the hard part, just him accepting it himself.
So where did the
So his
Indigo Child
so hold up.
Therapeutic come from? How did you start that?
It was because of him. As he got older and we're going through different things, I knew that it was other parents out here like me that needed that help. Um, because I was a behavior therapist in DC for another company. And so I've been in this field for about 8 years now. And it has helped me a lot with him. But then as I got older and I noticed that I couldn't really grow with that company, no matter how much I would say, okay, I think it's time for me to leave, she'd be like, no, no, I'll give you $5 more. I'll give you
An
$10
hour.
more, you know? Yeah, and I'm like, okay, and I really loved my job and I loved my boss, but it was no growth for me. It was nowhere else, nothing else I can do. I was pretty much running her DC company for her while she was creating her Maryland company.
Mhm,
But I wanted to work with older kids as Drew got older because I was like, okay, he doesn't really know what a bank account is.
mhm,
He
mhm.
just knows I have my card and it's money on it. He doesn't know that I have to work for that money. He knows I go to work,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't put them two and two together. So what I wanted to do with the program was work with the older kids, teach them financial literacy, teach them how to wash their clothes, how to cook small meals, how to just be a little more independent because it dawned on me I'm not going to always be here.
Mhm.
And my son is going to have to fend for himself, although he has three sisters. And we just had this conversation the other day. I said, if something was to happen to me or your dad, who out of the three of you guys think that you would be able to take care of Drew? Everybody's like, me, he's gonna come with me. No, he's gonna come with me. He's gonna go with me. And then they said, Drew, who you wanna come with? And he was like, I don't know. And that was the end of the conversation. Like, it was like, but you're not gonna hurt anybody's feelings. And he was just like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to be in the thing that y'all got going. So he did it again, and it was just like, okay. But you know, as he got older, I noticed that it was a lot of parents. And I was like, hey, it's parents going through what I'm going through. So that was my initial program. But then when I opened up June of last year, I started getting a lot of parents call me saying that they needed services. They were on wait lists. So now I'm getting calls as young as 2 and 3 years old because it's, everybody's on the wait list. So I haven't even initiated my original program because I don't want these parents to be on the wait list. I want them to get services. So we offer behavior therapists, behavior therapy, which is known as ABA. We offer speech therapy, and we also offer therapy.
You also offer what? Say it
Sorry,
again?
she keeps.
It's all right.
My sister keeps calling me on different phones, and I'm like I can't talk right now. But so it's ABA therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy.
Okay.
And there's such a wait list for ABA specifically because everybody wants that, right? So in ABA, what we do is we just kind of teach them how to control their behaviors, and not necessarily bad behaviors, but like behaviors as with them trying to stay focused in school, them trying to actually be still and sit and concentrate on doing their homework. Some of them do have negative behaviors to where they need help trying to redirect that energy to where they, don't fall out on the floor. Let's figure out why you're upset, and then we'll go about it like that. So it's a lot of redirecting when it comes to ABA therapy, but it has really opened my eyes. This side of the spec of the whole thing has made me learn a lot because I was always on the employee side.
Right.
So me being on the employer side, I'm like fighting with the insurance company. I'm like, getting parents that's crying to me on the phone. The good thing is I know what they're going through. And that's how I usually relate to the parents because I'm like, listen, you're not just talking to somebody that works here. My son is 15 and he's on the autism
Who's
spectrum.
dealing with it?
So I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. This one lady, she was like, are you in my house? I was like, no, this is what my son did. This
That's
is
what you
what your
do,
son
right?
is doing. And she was like, yeah, he's doing exactly that. I was like, yeah, it's just, all children with autism are not the same, but they have similarities. So it's certain things that they will do. Like my son has never flailed his arms. He's never done that. But he has like run like Sonic because that's what he saw and that's what he wanted to emulate. So, it's certain
Makes
things
sense.
he, like I said with the pencil, he does that, but it's little things that he does other people don't do, and it's things that other people do that he doesn't do. So just because it's a saying you met one person with autism, you've met just that one person with autism. All of them are not the same.
Unfortunately, Tiffany, we're running out of time. So I want to give you a chance. Any last words that you have? Anybody you want to shout out or anything you'd like to tell our audience? And then also make sure you let people know where we can find you.
Well, just if you have not gotten that diagnosis, because that's a long wait list as well, hang in there. Hang in there. And they can call me. I've been referring people out to even certain clinics and centers to get their diagnosis. So I just want to help them be able to get the services that the kids need because that's a big thing. And COVID really wore on these kids a lot, man. Like disrupting their schedules was hard for them. So trying to get them back to where they were in 2019, it's been a struggle. So my phone number is 240-244-9778. The email is the Indigo Child Therapeutic at Hotmail. I have a website, but it's a free one and it's something, something, something. But if you Google us lately, I've heard
Just
that the
Google 'em.
algorithm has been kicking us to the top.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
the
So,
Indigo,
so Google the Indigo Child Therapeutic Center. You should be
the
able to
Indigo
find.
Child Therapeutic. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
All right,
And
Tiffany.
we're on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, Facebook and Instagram. So check that out as well.
Yep.
Tiffany, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We really
Thank you
appreciate
for
you sharing
having
your
me.
story, sharing
Thank you.
and telling us all about the Indigo Child Therapeutic Center. So we really appreciate you joining
Yes.
us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And
We'll have you
April
back
is
soon.
Autism Awareness Acceptance. So wear your blue. I got my blue. It doesn't matter what
I
day.
have my blue
Usually it's April
on.
2nd.
I
Yes.
have my blue on.
So
Love it.
Yes,
if you, yes,
yes.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, Tiffany. Thank you.
Thank you. And
thank you,
talk to
Tiff.
Drew. Hey, Drew. Hey, Drew.
All right, so now we're really tight on time. She was a great guest, though. Really, really great guest.
Yes.
I just
Informative.
so much I wanted to hear. I
you
wanted
know,
to hear so much more. Right, Lizzie?
how people will take notice of her message and just, even if they don't go to Indigo Child Therapeutic, they do the research that they need for their child, their family.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into our main topics.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Lizzie, you're up first. You got a dead man performing on stage. What happened?
No. If you can't handle a lot of stuff, a lot of creepy crawly stuff, then you may want to step away. So we're going to talk about a young rapper, a local rapper. His rap name is Goonew, and he was shot and killed in Washington D.C. in March. And so last week, his family decided that they were going to have a memorial service for him at a local DC nightclub called Bliss Nightclub, in which
calling them out.
yeah, absolutely. Um, and in which they decided that the family commissioned the funeral home to allow them to have a memorial service at the nightclub and to prop his body up on stage, right? During a Saturday night performance, just Saturday night, let's go to the club. We're going to have Gunu on stage, as the music is blasting, as people are dancing, having a good time. And it caused a lot of commentary and disturbance in social media. So that's Gunu's body right there on stage at the club, 50, meet me in the club. So my question to you
Meet me in the
guys
club.
is, because having a corpse, a body on display is not out of the ordinary when you think of wakes, when you think of funerals. So my question to the panel is this any different from your average funeral, is your average send-off for a loved one who has departed?
Start with Robbie.
I mean, it was done as a viewing at the club. And this is something that was important to the family. This is something that resonated with the family. They wanted to have a celebration of life that was fitting for Markel. You know what? More power to them. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean that it isn't a valid celebration of life. At first, when we were kind of talking about this, I was thinking, man, this is like a bad Weekend at Bernie's segment.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Right? Yeah, but
for those young people that don't know Weekend at Bernie's, check it out.
Google it.
It's a
Google it.
1989 film, so
It's a horrible film, but you'll get the premise.
horrible.
But no, like I really appreciated what his mom had to say. I'm pleased with how I sent my son away. I wish people would just let me grieve in peace. And I agree with her 100%.
All right, Marya.
Okay, so I got some challenges with this because yes, we do open casket, right? But I think that the challenge with this is it was kind of the venue, but it's more like the way that it was done, right? Like if he were an open casket on the stage and like everybody went up to do the homegoing like ceremonies and give their their respects, that that could be a little different, right? But like he's like propped up,
Yeah.
like he's propped up, like it's just it's a whole nother situation. And I have to ask, and I don't know because this is my confusion, and maybe Liz, you know more about this, but like, did all of the people who came to the club know that that was what
So
they were
that
going to get
That,
when they
there's
got to
some
the club?
confusion on that.
there's a lot of
Like,
confusion on that. I don't honestly, I don't think everybody knew. I think it was advertised at some point that this may have been what was going to take place. But again, this is a regular nightclub in DC, Bliss nightclub.
right.
They charge $40 admission to come into this, right? And
That's the
so
thing,
I
though.
think
That's the thing that got
I
me.
I think you have people who knew that something like was gonna happen, and people who just wanted to go and maybe listen to his songs all night, not realizing that he was gonna be, standing in the corner of Foley, looking like he's about to bob his
That's
The
head.
probably
I,
that's what I would have
Right.
thought.
the
We were just celebrating them. And, woo. All right, but so real
Yeah.
quick online. So Lainey Annie Burrell says, "Ah, man, that's effing creepy." Jill says, "Although you are right, it is a different view on the viewing." And Jacqueline Robbins says, "This was absolutely appalling. The story went international. The family should be ashamed of themselves. The club actually had a $40 cover charge." And like I said, I think the cover charge is the thing that got me. I'm like, why are we charging to prop this man up? I mean, it was like a party that it's almost like you were trying to make money off of the guy being dead and propping his body up. It was less like a celebration of a funeral. Now maybe they were just trying to cover the cost of the Bliss nightclub, but I don't know. I mean, that's what you pay funeral costs for, you know? I don't know.
but
Mario, you were gonna
but
say
when
something.
was the last time when was the last what was the last wake that you went to where you live streamed what was happening? That was kind of, if this was a viewing, if this was a wake type thing, a celebration of life, how often do you live stream shit like that? That's a personal event.
So maybe
Well, if it's
not
a
live
popular
stream, but
person,
let me just say, I had an aunt who passed away at the beginning of March, right, in North Carolina. Um, my sister Jackie and I, we were not able to go to the funeral for myriad reasons, but my cousin sent us pictures from the funeral, including pictures of the body in the casket, which I just was so offended by. So, but I remember growing up, whenever we had, loved ones and family members who died, there were always an abundance of pictures that were circulated. So maybe not a live stream, Rob, because that technology wasn't available back then. But folks have been taking pictures of the body in the casket for years, and it drives me nuts.
Mm.
It is always nuts. And so when my dad died in 92, I was like, okay, y'all can display the body, but it's not going to be an open casket for the entire funeral. We're going to have a small window and then boom. When my mom passed away in 2013, my sister Jackie and I, we said the same thing. Like, we're not going to just sit here with a body open and, people popping pictures. Like that, to me, maybe not to this family, but to me, that is disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I don't, I understand that this is what this family chose to do. And supposedly, these were her dying wishes. And yes, respect that. I just, I was just like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, I mean they do it in other countries. I know Mario, you had a quick comment. If you can go ahead and get that out.
no, well, I was gonna say, I think in terms of the viewing piece of like everybody seeing everything in a live stream, I think like if the family felt like, and he might have like a ton of fan. I didn't know his name before this. I'll be honest,
I never heard of
but
him either.
like, but
Okay.
but but that's just me. Like a lot of people might know him, so I would think the more popular someone is, the more you live stream everything to memorialize them, right? So that could have been their mentality. So the
That's a good
live
point.
streaming wasn't my issue. My issue was more of what they were live streaming
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah,
of like just the whole like there's an embalmed body on the stage standing upright, and then we're charging people $40. I think that was a really good point you made, Neo. Like
Yeah.
that piece
Yeah.
actually definitely adds to your purpose for doing something is a little concerning.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, one last comment online. Jacqueline Robinson says, then the mama asked that the family be allowed to grieve in peace after getting called out. Woman, please, you should have thought of that before you put him up.
And see, this is what people don't understand in 2022. Unfortunately, once you allow something to go
Yes.
public,
Mm-hmm.
everyone has
It's
the right
public.
to comment.
Comment.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Right.
If you wanted it to be private, you would have taken away all the phones at the entrance.
Yep. All right.
End of
Is
discussion.
this truth, lies,
Truth,
or
lies,
shenanigans?
shenanigans.
Y'all.
Oh, big shenanigans. Big
Shenanigans.
shenanigans.
That's
Oh,
And
shenanigans.
this is one of the reasons why I will be cremated. Y'all not gonna see my
Great
embalmed
shenanigans.
masculine body
for
up
those that
there.
don't
No,
know, Marya's daughter made her shenanigans sign.
Oh, let's see it again. Let's see it again, Marya.
She did. She did. She helped me decorate all the signs. So you'll see them. You'll see them as they come up.
All right, let's get to our next one. That's going to be Robbie. Robbie, more homophobia in Texas. What's going on?
Oh, man. So, a little bit of a history lesson on this one. In August 2017, two-time Teacher of the Year recipient Stacy Bailey was giving a welcome back to school presentation, and at that time she showed a picture of herself and her future wife dressed as characters from the movie Finding Nemo. So, according to court documents, a parent complained to the school saying that she was promoting the homosexual agenda. So the Texas art teacher was placed on administrative leave shortly thereafter. But Bailey and her legal team argued that she was discriminated against, that her constitutional rights were violated, while the school district alleged the teacher refused to follow administration guidelines regarding age appropriate conversations with the students about sexual orientation. I'm very happy to share with you that she reached a $100,000 settlement with the Mansfield Independent School District last week. And included in the settlement is mandatory LGBT training. Optional training will be offered to administrators, staff, teachers, and parents who would like to attend, according to the settlement documents. So I'm just curious, with this settlement, does this set a precedent that will protect other gay teachers across the USA?
I hope so, but let's start with the teacher. Marya.
No,
Yeah,
it won't.
well, I have. Oh,
Actually,
sorry.
Neil, which teacher? We have two teachers on the
Oh,
panel.
that's
Two
right.
teachers,
That's
right?
right.
Two
There are
teachers.
two teachers
I
on.
took that. I apologize, Liz. Yeah.
I was talking to
No,
Marya.
no,
Sorry,
no.
but you're right. There are two teachers on here. Let's start with Marya. Go ahead.
And so I will say, yeah, this hit close to home when I saw this article because I think it should set a precedent, but I don't think it will. Right. Unfortunately, because, and one, this happened in Texas. So, like, I think it's
Mm,
pretty big that it did do something, that it rocked the boat a little bit in
definitely.
terms of people giving the
Right,
settlement.
right.
However, are they really changing structures, or are they just doing like a little bit of a band-aid response to like, oh, we got in trouble for not doing something when we should have? Right.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like if it was a heteronormative couple, if it was just like a woman sharing her fiance who's a male's picture, there would be no issue. Like it would be, oh, I learned my tutor is getting
Absolutely.
married. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
Like so
Absolutely.
It wouldn't have been an issue at
that's
all.
my thoughts on it.
I think the problems have to do with the adults. But go ahead, Lizzie.
So, I mean, let's just set the picture here, the background here for a moment. This wasn't an instance where, this teacher took out a picture of her and her female fiance and was showing it to her students saying, this is what we need to do. This is right. This is what we should be aspiring to. She shared at the beginning of the school year in meeting her students, first day of class, she shared a photo gallery of who she was. This was one picture out of all of the pictures that was in that photo gallery, sharing with her students who she was, where she came from, the things that she likes to do. And one parent took exception to the fact that, okay, she is engaged to another woman. So that is the background of that. And like Marya said, if that one picture had been of her and her male fiance, we would not be talking about this right now. And that's where the
Mm-hmm.
hypocrisy comes. Like, you may not agree with, homosexuality, with LGBTQ, whatever. But if you are an American in a place where we are all supposed to be free and have the right to live how we choose to live, how can you deny this woman the opportunity to love. Like she's not hurting anyone, and this was not an L. They it was the LGBT agenda, right? What was the agenda here, except for sharing herself and introducing herself to her students? So that's where I constantly call bullshit on these people.
Hmm.
Especially, the question was, do we think that this is going to change things? Not in Texas, not in Florida, not in a lot of these pro-Republican conservative states.
So,
They're just going to
so
find
you don't think the
something else.
money? Okay, so you're thinking this is an anomaly, and that I know because this is a civil lawsuit. Obviously, this isn't any type of criminal, or this is not. They're not really testing. They won't go to the Supreme Court and all that. But are we saying that you think that it's not going to have some effect at some point?
So can
A
I make a
civil
point
Go
of
ahead.
lawsuit of
view?
Mhm,
$100,000? No,
mhm.
So I think
no.
the effect that's going to happen is that I think what it's doing to for a lot of teachers who are gay is it's going to make them less likely to share their personal stories as much because there is still repercussions that come up with parents. Like I think there's still like that added like, and that's what it is. When a parent says things like that, it's to create this fear of just being able to be openly talking about things that other people feel uncomfortable about. But like Lizzie said, like I think right, like it was her family. Like she was sharing, here's my story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's nice to meet you, kids. What's your story? Right? Like this is my story, this is your story. Like that's all it is. They're different, but they're not like there's no better or worse. It just is, right? And I think
And
that
this is
that
2
that
years later.
this whole thing creates the fear for
R-
teachers.
RB, you
And
get
this
the
is
last
2
50
years
seconds. Oh.
later. This settlement happened 2 years later.
Well, it takes a
This
while
is
to go
No,
through the
But
courts
yeah,
and
but
stuff.
it's 2 years where she has been like, "Oh, that's her.
Oh, that's true. Right.
That's
Yeah,
her.
he's being
That's
branded.
her."
Robbie,
Hmm.
last 30 seconds.
yeah. Well, that's it. Her legal representation, Jason Smith, was quoted saying that the judge in this case ruled that gay teachers are protected by the Constitution. And that's a precedent that will protect every gay teacher in this country. And I agree with him because when you have a legal precedent that's been set, now you have a school district that has had to cough up $100,000 to settle this because one parent didn't like that someone could potentially have two mommies. What the hell? Right? So, and what I applaud them because they donated $10,000 of the money to a nonprofit that focuses on LGBTQ issues, and the lawyer did the same thing too. So, if they're going to get these small wins, one at a time, and then help fund other wins down the road, I believe that it will impact change over time. It absolutely will.
Yeah. We have online Jacqueline Robinson says, why can't people just let people live? All right. All right, guys. Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans?
Y'all know I had to bring it out. Y'all know I had to bring it out.
This is a tough one. This is
It,
like
it's more shenanigans.
So
truth. I'm going
it's
with
tough to me
truth,
because I think it's her
shenanigans.
truth, right? I think
Right.
it's
That's what
her
I'm saying.
truth and it's the
Uh-huh.
Oh,
truth of what's
absolutely.
going
It's
on.
It's
her too.
her
Oh,
truth.
yes.
It's lies
So,
from the parents, and
right,
it's shenanigans.
Shenanigans from the school board and the parent.
But also remember, it's in Texas where we have a senator by the name of Ted Cruz who is bitching and moaning about anti-racism books for children.
Oh my God.
We got our copies of
So,
Mouse the other day. Mouse and Mouse 2 came in from Amazon. I'm so happy to have them in my book collection.
so this is going to be a long fight. And heaven forbid, not that I believe in heaven, but heaven forbid that, this took place in Florida.
Yeah.
Don't say gay.
Oh God.
Don't say gay in
They've already
Florida.
they've already
People
made it like
win.
impossible. Like she could be.
I mean, they make it
I'm not even. I
so
don't remember
hard.
what the penalties are if she were to say, for example, gay or to show this picture. But they're pretty much establishing penalties for it in Florida. So all right,
Shameful. In 2022 in the United States of America, this is shameful
it
and
is shameful.
disgusting. It really is. It
Yeah.
really is.
All right. It's unfortunately we wanted to talk about Will Smith's punishment on Chris Rock on the Will Smith's punishment for the attack on Chris Rock. Unfortunately, our time is short, so and there's a lot to say about it. So we're gonna table this for the after show, and don't forget that's immediately after the show. Head over to TLS Fans for that TLSFans.com. All right, let's get into our game show. We can lighten this up a little bit.
Did you know what the game show is? I have no idea what it is.
You don't know what the game show
No,
is.
he's messing with us this week.
All right,
Would you rather?
today's game is actually pretty simple. Would you rather? Like an old favorite. Basically, the app will give us two options, and we have to choose which we'd rather do. If our answers match the most popular answers, we get a point. Person with the most points wins the game and gets the final thought for the show. All right, so we're starting out with would you rather live your entire life in a virtual reality where all your wishes are granted or live in the real world? Just say whatever you think. Answer.
Real world, baby. Real world.
I'm going with real world.
Because you don't know the other parameters of that virtual reality. I mean,
All your wishes are granted. You get whatever you want. What
Yeah,
about you,
but
Mark?
you
Yeah,
know
but what if it's in
What's the
240p?
virtual? Yeah.
It's
you know, you
240p.
could be living. You could be living in a rock. Like you don't know what.
Or
all
8-bit.
the other-
It could be 8-bit. It's like upload. You got. It's like the show upload. So what was your answer, Mario? I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say live in the real world also.
Living it.
because
So everybody's real world.
Virtual,
Okay,
the virtual threw me off. I'm like virtual. what?
Oh, the virtual world wins. None of us get a point. Oh my gosh.
That's
Okay.
because people
You
aren't
don't know who
critical
you are
Is
thinkers.
unless
that
you
the
struggle.
majority of people? Like, is that
It's
what
because
people vote? Is
people
that what
aren't
that is?
critical
I don't know who
thinkers.
these people
Yeah.
are. Nonsense is what they're talking about.
That's the they in they say.
Shoot. All right. Would you rather be alone for the rest of your life or always be surrounded by annoying
Be
people?
Oh
alone.
God.
Alone.
Alone for sure.
I would definitely be alone. Nope. I do. I have too many annoying people in my life already. So, oh yes, be alone. We all get points. We all
Wait,
get
no,
points.
but can you imagine that 41% of people wanted to be with annoying people? Like that's
Oh
hard
my
for
God.
me. That's a
Not
lot of
happening.
people who voted for that.
Those are
Not
the people
happening
that
for
don't-
me.
I think that's a
No,
strong
there's no-
Christian demographic that voted for that because I can't imagine spending eternity with my relatives in someone's no.
All right. Would you rather never use social media sites or apps again or never watch another movie or TV show? Wow.
Oh
I'd probably throw out the TV shows and movies.
yeah, TV's gone. Movies or TVs.
Right now, everybody's got a point, so we're all tied.
Oh no, that's a tough one. I think not using social media sites.
Ooh, never using social media. Okay, you're going against the grain. Lizzie? Quickly, though, we run out of time.
I mean, I'm a journalist. You know, I make a lot of money off of social media sites. So, ugh.
Quickly.
I would have to say movie and TV show.
All right. Oh, yes, that is correct answer. Sorry,
Wow.
Maria.
We are
Grudgingly-
really like,
grudgingly.
you know,
All right. Next one. All right.
So I couldn't binge you on YouTube if I wanted to, right?
All right. Would you rather have an easy job working for someone else or work for yourself but work incredibly hard?
How much money am I making?
I guess that's
That's what's
the
missing from this scenario. How
that's
much-
true.
Yeah.
I already do
Oh
both.
hell.
So so I just if I have to choose, I'd rather work for myself. All right,
I
quickly.
work for
Nah, I'm gonna
myself.
take an easy job,
I work
man.
for
Yeah,
I worked for Old Navy
I'm like-
folding
I'm
clothes
so-
for a little while, and that was too easy and boring. I need
Yes.
a challenge.
Hey, Liz.
I have things. I'm gonna work for somebody else for free, so they can deal with insurance and liability.
All
and all
right,
that.
me and Maria get it. We get the right answer.
Oh, so close. So close.
Yes, yes. It was a close one, though. All right, this will be the last one. This is the last one. All right. Would you rather be the first person to explore a planet or be the inventor of a drug that cures a deadly disease?
Come on, I'm a type 1 diabetic. Be the inventor of a drug that cures a deadly disease.
Oh, I'd be the first to explore a new planet.
100%.
Mm.
Yeah, you explore that new planet and you die within the first 10 seconds because you don't know
And then-
about the chemicals on that planet.
Or the viruses and the bacteria.
Bring a new microbe back to Earth.
Mhm.
Mm.
So, what's your answer, Rob?
The inventor of a drug that cures a deadly disease.
Maria?
It's explore a planet. I'm so anti drugs these days and so anti medication. So Yeah, it's gonna be Explore Planet with those choices.
All right, let's see. Oh, the drugs. All right, so that's a
Because,
three-way
well,
tie
let's be
between.
honest, the money is in the other one, so
That's
that
true in the
actually
drug.
makes it an
All right, so
incentive.
three-way tie between Neo, Lizzie, and
my
Rob.
mind
So,
said it's
Marya, you win the game.
like I said,
Oh.
Marya wins the game. All right, let's go. Get some shout outs in. Let's start with Lizzie on some shout outs.
So I forgot a birthday this week. As much as I tried to, remember to say happy birthday. So we just celebrated a birthday, or she just celebrated a birthday. One of our guests, Jeanette Brown, just had a birthday a couple of years.
Happy birthday, Jeanette Brown.
Happy birthday, Jeanette.
Well, happy birthday, Jeanette.
It's on our super fans, one of our super fans. All right, Robbie.
Oh man. Okay. So shout out to my mom who celebrated her birthday yesterday, my Uncle Bob who's celebrating his birthday today, and my Aunt Clarissa who's celebrating her birthday tomorrow. And if you recall, my Aunt Clarissa was the one who crafted the Equine Dreams throw that I wore for the Met Gala show.
Oh, I remember that.
Also, a little Canadian accent came out there, Rob. Tomorrow. Yeah. Good.
Did it?
All right.
Oh gosh, darn it, eh?
I'll switch it up. I'll give my shout out first. My shout out goes to my sister Rupka. You guys know her as Olivia. Her longtime companion, her puppy Minx, died in her sleep this past week. If you've gone on My Pet Shenanigans group, you've probably seen some of her pictures. So I know what it's like to lose a best friend. So our thoughts go out to you, Olivia. And Marya, any shout outs from you?
Yeah, well, so I've got 3 shout outs if I can make them. My big
Absolutely.
sister, my actual physical biological big sister, is having a birthday on Tuesday, and then my not genetic big sister Tracy is having a birthday on Thursday. So shout out to her, and one of my very good childhood
Birthdays
friends.
for everybody.
Birthdays for everyone.
What was the third one? I'm sorry.
My third one's my very good childhood friend Jose is having a birthday on the 19th. So those are my April birthdays.
Nah, a lot of birthdays. All right, and this week's shout out goes to Chris. This week's Pet Shenanigans shout out goes to Chris Crop, who shared his beautiful puppy. Looks like a pit bull mix. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. All right, and to see all of the pets and post your pet photos and videos, join the TLS Pet Shenanigans Facebook group, mypetshenanigans.com. And that is officially all of the time we have for today's show. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. We hope that you maybe learned something, gained a new perspective, and got some things off your chest. We will be back next week with another amazing guest. And don't run too far. We ran out of time for the discussion on Will Smith, so we're taking that to our after show. And that streams live exclusively on TLS Fans' Facebook page immediately following the show. Or you can find it on our podcast later in the week at TLSpod.com. Don't forget to subscribe to Beyond the Scars podcast, the BeyondTheScars.show, and the Brown Girl Interrupting blog. And the what's the
And be sure to come join us on Pain to Power Leading with Love at 9 o'clock
9 o'clock,
tonight
right?
on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube.
Got it. All right. Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube and browninterrupting.com. So click on the link in the description. It is in our description. And our winner for the final thought, winning the game this week, that goes to Marya.
Oh, nice. Okay, I just have a final thought here, huh?
Yep.
Well, I think I'm gonna say, just keep learning and exploring and looking at information. I think there was a lot of things we talked about today. We got to be discerning in how we take in the information, and share your thoughts, right? Like, be open to interrupt and not always believe the same thing as everyone else, because different opinions makes for much more interesting conversation. So there's my final thought today. Thank you so much for having me on, though. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor and a lot of fun.
We enjoyed having you.
Brown Girl, have have another brown girl.
Have another brown girl.
Brown girls.
All right, thank you.
Brown girls.
So thank you, Lizzie, Robbie Rock, our guest host, Marya, and to our guest, Tiffany Vick as well. But most importantly, thank you for watching and listening to our shenanigans each and every week. And we'll see you all next time and on the after show. Have a good one.